The Greatest Beer Run Ever is a movie where Zac Efron gets the wild idea to bring his buddies cans of PBR in the middle of the Vietnam War. Like, okay, I'm listening. One thing I'll say first is that my experience in seeing this movie is far more interesting than the movie itself, but I'll get to that after the review. This is a movie whose plot is original. I've seen a ton of Vietnam flicks. I love Vietnam movies. And I haven't really seen one about a civilian who flies there with a bag of beer, then gets stuck there, and is desperately trying to get the hell out of Nam. Sometimes it's like the plot of an 80s shenanigans movie, but it's a war film. Even the title sounds shenanigansy, like it should have this movie poster. And with that, I like that this character starts out like he's from a wacky comedy that progressively gets more dramatic and serious. That makes it even funnier that it's directed by Peter Farrelly of the Farrelly brothers. Unfortunately, the plot really is the only original thing about it. The first half isn't very good at all. Zac Efron is consistently great through the whole movie, though, and it was because of him that I was never sitting there thinking that the movie was a waste, or wasn't something worth checking out in some format. But in the first act, the side characters aren't that great, and neither is the acting from some of them. Every debate in the film about the war, every argument about journalism, all of it is every back and forth Vietnam argument you've ever heard in one of these films. The movie starts out like it's a poor man's Born on the 4th of July. It really is just borrowed elements from every Vietnam movie you've seen. And in the first half, there's also no inspiration in the way it's shot. It's just shot like a basic movie. It's not poorly shot, it's just shot. Look, I don't use this word a lot, but this is an Oscar bait film. You know where the parts are that would be used as clips in an awards ceremony. There's heavy-handed lines like pause for trailer moments. There's a death in the last act that's manipulative as hell. And you know exactly what the arc is that Zac Efron is gonna have. It's the kind of movie where a group takes a picture about midway through, and you know for a fact the movie is gonna end with the real photograph before the end credits. But in the second half, things did get a little better. The darker the movie gets, the more suspenseful it gets. There's a particularly good scene in a helicopter. I like that the soundtrack uses some deep cuts from the era, and not just things you'd expect to hear in a Nam movie. The filmmaking gets better. The acting from the side characters gets a lot better. When Russell Crowe comes into it, it does elevate it a lot, even if he also has stock lines you've heard from a movie like this. I kinda like that Efron is almost Forrest Gumpish in how he gets himself involved in these situations. It's that mixed in with a stuck in Vietnam version of After Hours. Though it isn't very consistent. Through a lot of the movie, he is straight up dumb, or at the least naive as hell. But then in other scenes, he'll be really smart, and then pick up on stuff that I don't know how many people would have figured out. This is a film that would have been better served being a movie from 1978 and starring Burt Reynolds, and it would have been awesome. Here, it's okay. The positive things about it make it a decent choice for a Friday night rental or something to watch with your parents, so I'd give it a C+. Its heart's in the right place, it just needs a much more original script. But the circumstances in which I saw it, I wouldn't trade for the world. So we went to this movie last night, not knowing what the movie was gonna be. This was advertised on the Regal app as the Monday mystery movie, and it was only $5. So Laura and I went, and it was actually kind of fun. I hope they do this again in the future, because it was actually fun, like, guessing what the movie was gonna be. We saw that it was gonna be rated R. We saw that it had a running time listed for like 2 hours and 20 minutes. So we were guessing. We were like, maybe Terrifier 2, maybe Amsterdam. Those were kind of the two that we settled on. And when we got to the movie theater, and it was packed, and when we got there, and it was like elderly couples, and like people there middle-aged, probably on like a date night or something. We were like, okay, now I hope to God it's Terrifier 2. How many walkouts are we gonna see from this church group that just showed up? So then the movie starts, and the opening scene is Zac Efron and his buddies in a bar in 1967. It says based on a true story, they're all drinking beer. And we're sitting there confused as hell because I never got a trailer for this movie. I never heard of this movie until yesterday. So it's a Monday mystery movie that was still a mystery even when it started. So I didn't even know what mode my brain should be in, meaning I didn't know what genre the movie was going to be. Is this going to be a comedy? Is it going to be a drama? Is it going to be a horror film? And it didn't have a title in front of it either. There's no opening credits in the movie. So I'm sitting there watching it for the first half hour, not knowing what this movie is called. And then when I eventually figured it out, it was the scene in the bar where they're with Bill Murray, and Bill Murray is like, I wish I could bring those boys a can of beer, and Zac Efron is, that is a great idea. Then I went, wait, I think I know what this movie is. Like I was either on IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes earlier in the day. I was scrolling to see what movies were coming out. And I did remember scrolling past a title earlier in the day called The Greatest Beer Run Ever, and not thinking anything of it. Like, I just saw the title and thought, okay, this must be like a throwback college comedy or something. That is partly correct, kind of, sort of. So then I was like, I wonder if it's this movie, and it was. So great. A half hour in, I finally knew what the movie was called. So I said to Laura, I showed her a picture of the phone. I go, this is what the movie is. Laura's sitting there going, this movie's weird. I kind of want to see where it's going. I'm like, me too. Let's see if he takes his cans of PBR to Vietnam. And how come when he opens them throughout the whole movie, they don't explode? At least he says at one point, look, this can is going to be very warm when I give it to you. You might be better off with some Billy beer that's already warm and has some rust in it. So I really hope they do this Monday mystery movie thing again, because it was fun guessing, and also fun in the fact that we got a movie that I had never gotten a trailer for. I guess it's going to be on Apple this weekend and probably in some select cities. And it is more appropriate if you're watching it on streaming, honestly. So unless you were at the Monday mystery thing like we were. And alright, well, that was fun to talk about. Subscribe to our channel today and follow us on Twitter at The Cinema Snob, and check out our latest Cinema Snob episode on a terrible movie called Cuckoo Patrol. So we'll see you next time.